Good morning, everyone. So, I'd like to say it's been a fun morning, but it hasn't. Um, was planning on streaming a lot of different sweet decks, but apparently there's a glitch in the system, and long story short, when I returned the cards to manatraders on Thursday after the stream, apparently they either didn't all register or didn't all get turned in. So, sent an email to them this morning after I got on, realizing that they had not registered as turned in. So, as of right now, I don't have access to manatraders turns in. I had to switch to my backup account, which I never really wanted to on this channel, but I did promise to stream this morning, so here we are, trying to stream a little bit. Question is, I guess I just bolt their elf here, getting the damage. Try to slow them down a little bit. It's possible I should have just gone face since they didn't block that turn. Yep. Another one drop out. Yep. See if they block it all here. No blocks. Alright. So if we draw a burn spell next turn, you're just dead. We're up to 3 here. So we probably have a draw step or two to find a burn spell to kill them. Yep, makes sense. Probably casting some spells or a bunch of spells this turn. All Sentinel, sure. You have a Heritage Druid to really go nuts. You don't, just a Lion's Elite. Alright. Yeah, Boros Charm to finish it off. Alright, on to Elves. Bring in the Searing Bloods. Couple pass might be alright. Cards generally not good in this matchup. Skull cracks aren't great. Direct face damage isn't always great. So we already have a Lavamancers in the main. It's either Spikes or Boros Charms here. Go with 2 Spikes, 2 Boros Charms. Mainly trying to keep their board under control long enough to kill them, so. Um, Sounds alright, but not great, especially on the draw. I'm still inclined to keep it, especially with them mulliganing. Eidolon would have been a lot better on the play here. So we were on the play this turn game. We could have gone kill your elf and then kill your next couple elves and call it a day. Devoted Druid, huh? Heritage Druid. Devoted Druid's the bigger threat, even though technically they probably only run one Vizier. What's up, Dave? There's a Yuzuri, sure. Hope your morning is going better than mine. I'm just having one of those mornings where I found out, whenever I traded in my, you're gonna have to activate Heritage Druid here, friend. So there's a small chance we could die here if they hit exactly Yuzuri and Archdruid. Middle Sentinel plus X is not gonna do it. Yeah. And I don't fault manatraders for this at all, but basically I turned in the cards after the match I played with Bant Collected Company, or Bant Retreat the other day, and I don't know if it didn't get all the cards or what went on, but basically the system has said I haven't returned any of the cards, even though none of them are in my collection, and I didn't sell them. So I sent them an email like, hey, I turned these cards in and it's not registering here. Not sure what they're going to go. Oh, they're going to transform in the Westvale Abbey here and kill us. Yep, that's game. Alright, opponent had a plan. They succeeded in that plan. Still think we submit the same deck. That's kind of where things are at this morning. So the Nulls is usually a pretty good matchup for Burn, but our opponent had a pretty decent draw. They had the plan of things into Ormondal, and it got there. So, all right. This hand's all right. It's more of a control-ish hand, but it'll get there. No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's MTGO. I think it's something on the manatraders end, but I'm not really sure like what exactly happened. So I sent them an email giving them as much information as I could. But basically, I can't stream the decks I was going to stream this morning, so I had to switch to my other MTGO account and use use it instead of my manatraders account. And the only thing I have on this thing is burn, so it's the only deck I can currently play right now. And if they decide, or the software that says I didn't turn it in, then I'm going to have to cough up about 200 some odd bucks in tickets that I kind of don't really have. So, yay, fun. Go ahead and kill that, keep their board as clear as possible. Explains why they weren't in a hurry to play that land. Archdruid, maybe? Feels like, yeah, feels like Archdruid. Eidolon plus kill your dude seems pretty reasonable. No, unfortunately, I don't usually record the turn-ins. That's off camera usually. So, I don't know what I'm going to do exactly. I mean, theoretically, I have the money theoretically, but it's an enormous pain in the hind end. So. No more sweet decks, just a lot of burn, and quite frankly, people get bored of burn very quickly. So. But, I gotta start grinding. If I don't like airing my things. So we're on the draw here. Yeah. No, we're on the play. Is this a hand that's keepable on the play? It's kind of risky, but as many one-drop spells as we have, I'm gonna try it. This is one of those, if we hit our second land on turn 2, then this hand's just kind of nuts. If we don't, then we might have enough to get there. Alright, we might be up against the Burn Mirror or Jeskai, which looks like the Burn Mirror. He suspended a Rift Bolt. Interesting. Okay, opponent has Lava Spike on top. So I'm playing the Burn Mirror without any of the good tools. What's up, War Dog? Hope you're having a good morning, man. Kill one of my dudes. Alright, we do have a second land, so I'm just presuming we're getting helixed here. Alright, no helix. See what our opponent shows here. If I were them, I would fetch now. Alright, well, I know you have the helix, so if you want to take 3 to gain 3, be my guest. So they're going to 7, back to 10, and then to 8. So. They don't have the Swift Spear. No, they have the Lava Spike. Oh, there's Lava Spike. Another land. That was my email notification. Hopefully they don't have another Helix here. If they have another Helix, we could actually be in a lot of trouble. Yep, they do. Alright, so I'll go to 9. I'm going to turn off my email since it's not the actual email that I want. Alright. Yep, there's a Swift Spear. Yeah, I was planning on playing some sweet decks today, but we have some technical difficulties, so we will not be playing anything today other than Burn, unfortunately. That tells me my opponent likely doesn't have another removal spell for the Swift Spear, so hopefully we draw land this turn. Skullcrack's not a horrible one here. Opponent's priced into blocking. See what their spells are. So they'll put us to 10. It's fine. Bounce these off of each other. This is a really low damage point plan, but I need to get that Swift Spear off the table. Because one of the things that kills us this turn, or next turn, is if they have like spell into Swift Spear. Like right here, it would take Boros Charm, Bolt Effect to kill us. So if our opponent has a third Helix, they have to use it here. Alright, so just Boros Charm you to end this. Alright. Unfortunately, I don't have core Firewalkers in this build, so we're on the draw this game, so some amount of the Eidolons have to come out. Had to bring in some number of paths to respect core Firewalker. Also want to bring in these Skullcrack effects. Searing Blood is interesting. These Lavamancers aren't usually very good in the mirror match. And I guess I'll just bring in the Searing Bloods. A lot of times they people board down on creatures in this matchup other than Firewalker, so it's kind of a hit or miss kind of thing. Like the Searing Bloods and Blazes can be dead depending on the player's draws. This hand's fine. I mean, we don't have any of the like true mirror breaker cards, but I mean we have a nice curve here, so kind of hard to Okay, so they have Lava Spike on 1, which is kind of whatever. Playing Goblin God out does expose us to the Blaze and Blood effects, but c'est la vie. Another Lava Spike. Okay. Huh. That's pretty sweet. Borostrom's gonna hurt. Okay, so they're fetching away Borostrom. Interesting. You're just gonna bolt my Goblin God? Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, don't get yourself in trouble, War Dog. Especially since all we're doing is playing burn. I was planning on streaming a bunch of user decks, but at the moment, there's a technical issue with manatraders for me, so. Man, can we draw any more lands? Positive note, our opponent doesn't know our hand's absolute garbage. So. Looks like our opponent is equally mana flooded. Alright, so if our opponent ever cracks their fetch, they're dead. Yeah, I mean, if this situation doesn't get figured out with manatraders, then there's a decent chance I'm gonna have to go old school and grind Moto to get decks. So I am not looking forward to playing Burn 24/7, 365 on stream. And I'm sure you guys would much rather see much more interesting decks. Opponent's thinking. Wonder if this means Lightning Helix. Oh, bad timing, opponent. Bad timing. It looked really, really sweet, and I wish I could be playing it this morning. I love I absolutely love the description. For those people that like to announce triggers and turn things sideways. I'm just like that was one of those like just like funny as heck moments. Yeah, this hand's fine. Especially on the draw, this hand's fine. Oh, I guess I'm on the play. Wow. Yeah. Shows how much I'm just kind of autopiloting this morning. Play our fetch land here. We don't have any of our blaze effects in hand, so I'm not inclined to hold on to my fetch land right now. Oh, could be up against, Pluto Delta could be a couple different things, I guess. Generally, Pluto Delta decks are good matchups for us, but you never know. Got time to jam this Eidolon. They have a counterspell, they have a counterspell. Spell Snare is the only card that would kind of get us here. Could be an Opt, could be a Spell Snare, could just be Fatal Push. Looks like Fatal Push, maybe? Yep, looks like we're up against Death Shadow. Death Shadow or possibly Grixis. Still doesn't tell us either one. We are flooding something fierce, so... It's nothing specific to manatraders that I'm aware of. The nearest thing I can figure, and I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not trying to... I sent them an email this morning, because when I logged on to borrow some of their cards, I noticed that... is this a Delphani? That looks like a Tassiger or something. Gonna Helix them in response here. Reason being is they could very easily have Stubborn Denial as one of their cards in hand right now. So... long story short, when I return, I finished up the stream the other day. Yeah, apparently I'm just destined to flood this game. I returned cards the other day, right after the stream, and it either didn't register or didn't return all of them from the automated system. So I'm not really sure which happened, but basically it says I still owe them for, or I still have all the cards out for the deck. So which I turned them in. I don't have them in my collection and I didn't sell them. So I'm not really sure what's going on with it, honestly. So I'm kind of in a weird situation where I can't borrow cards, but I might have to pay them back. I'm not really sure what's going on. So I asked them to see if there was any way they could go through their system and find out, you know, what's going on. I'm not trying to jump to conclusions. I'm not trying to say they did anything dumb or anything. I'm just kind of taking it chill, but unfortunately I wanted to stream this morning and I have no cards on my main thing, so I had to switch to my alternative account that I used for my secondary YouTube channel, which if I end up having to quit using manatraders, this is going to become my primary account, and the other YouTube channel will probably just, like, won't cease to exist, but I probably won't put too much more on there, because I'm going to have to grind a lot of burn, and, you know, people are going to see a lot of burn and not like it. So anyways, Searing Blaze is pretty bad in this matchup. If this is in fact Grixis Death Shadow and not just Grixis Control, The Thought Scours make me think that it's Grixis Shadow. Either one, we kind of have the same sideboarding pattern when they show us Gurmag Angler. I don't like Lavamancer in this matchup. I'm going to bring in the Firecrafts. Rest in Peace is kind of cute. I very easily could bring it in this matchup, but they can still win with Death Shadow even without access to Snapcaster Mage. And Ambush Viper can still kind of be a thing. So I'd like to bring in Skullcracks, but specifically on the draw, they're a lot worse anyway, so I'm not going to bring in the other two. Primarily for Collective Brutality, which is one of their better cards in the matchup. This hand's pretty awful under normal circumstances, but in this matchup specifically, it's fine. They have to do a lot of damage to themselves to get Death Shadow online. And the fact that it's got a path. Smarter Death Shadow players, though, in general, don't like to do a lot of damage to themselves. So, the way our opponent was playing suggests that they're one of the better Death Shadow players, if it is in fact Death Shadow and not just Grixis Pyromancer or something. Well, Swiftspear is a card. It's probably just going to die to a Fatal Push, but, you know. Their hands are usually pretty high on removal. Fatal Push my Swiftspear. Maybe not. Alright. Apparently our opponent's mulligan to 5 was just atrocious. Though they could have, I guess they could have Stubborn Denial here. Yeah, Stubborn Denial makes sense. That was a card I should have played around here. Probably going to get Brutality'd and despise my life choices. Yeah, this feels like a Brutality. There are very few things you fetch shock for in this matchup. Brutality would be one of them. Yeah, definitely feels like a Brutality with casting cost taking that long. Probably losing the path here. Which means there's a very good chance their last card is a Del Fatty. And if that's the case, we're actually in a bad spot. They just have like a Shadow or something, we should be okay for the time being. Looks like their play might be a Shadow. So generally speaking, the best strategy from the burn side is to try to like kill your opponent in a flurry of stuff. And since we don't have yeah, one of their cards has got to be Death Shadow here. So we currently have 10 points of burn in hand. They currently have a whole lot of fetch lands going on. That might be worth some interesting back and forth. See how our opponent plays around the Eidolon. going to 13 here. We getting K commanded? So if our opponent plays... Our opponent plays a Delphatty or a Death Shadow here. What we're going to do is we're going to Helix them, put them to 9. Okay, so it's just a Delphatty. Let this Angler resolve. Path was a nice draw. So path means they're dead if they have, even if through a stubborn denial here. Because this puts them to 7, and then the spells in hand just kill them. Good old burn. Faithless looting, generally no. There have been some builds that have run Bedlam Reveler on the sideboard. I've played, on my other channel, I played a list with Bedlam Reveler once and never ran into the matchups where the Bedlam Reveler would have been good. So I don't know how... I don't know how great that would be. So... But, yeah. I mean, I can grind burn all the livelong day, but it's just like... does not make for interesting viewing for a lot of people. A lot of people like variety. A lot of people like playing a lot, seeing a lot of different decks. We are on the play. Now this is a flipping hand. So this is one of those hands that if once again, if we draw a second land, we probably can't lose. But I generally don't like keeping one-landers on the play, except when I have like a hand that's like mono 1-drops. So we are up against Basic Island, which doesn't really tell us a whole lot. Paying costs. Oh, probably Storm then. And this hand is actually awful against Storm. Alright, well, got a little bit better. Yeah, it's almost confirmed Storm. Yep, 1000% is Storm. I definitely misplayed by not playing the Lava Spike here pre-combat, but... Yeah, there's a very good chance we're dead here. Even if I'd played Spike, our opponent would be at 6, they'd be at 4. So, gotta hope to not die, but against a Storm opponent that kept that many cards, we're probably dead here. Yep. Opponent's got the mana, so it's just a matter of whether they find the Gifts Ungiven or like a Grape Shot or something. But one on top, one on bottom, Ritual. Yeah, if they're firing off Ritual, this probably means Gifts Ungiven. Oh, there's another Ritual. Opponent's got all the mana in the world. Okay. A lot of draws kill us here. I know they have another island in hand. Alright. Wow. By the way, we should not have lived through that, just so we're clear. If our opponent had found a Gifts Ungiven, we were just dead, so. Triggers, get to see a few more cards. I'm gonna say, if I were opponent, I actually probably would have conceded here. Just to avoid the extra information off of, yeah. I would have conceded to avoid the Goblin Guide trigger extra information. Not that there's usually too many things that Storm has that's weird, but... Alright, so Storm matchup. I like a couple of pass. I like the Rest in Pieces, obviously. Beyond that, I don't generally like Skull Cracks. And the Lavamancers are a little subpar in this matchup. It's possible on the draw I want more Path Exiles, but I think I'll go ahead and submit as is. We got lucky. I mean, my misplay with the Lava Spike hurt the amount of damage. This hand's fine. I mean, we have 2 draw steps to hit a second land. Eidolon and Rest in Peace are both relevant cards in the matchup. Boros Charms are a little suspect, but mainly because you have to interact with them. Yep, sleight of hand, sure. Another Goblin Guide. Need to find another land, or this game's going to be over pretty quickly. I didn't mean find them another land. Alright, putting us to the test. Empty the ones, so I could just do a pretty decent empty here. What kind of hand did they keep? Hand that was obviously dependent on that Baral. Lightning Bolt. We give them red mana at any point, we are so boned. Serum Visions. Alright, there's the Serum Visions. See if they find a red land here. Wow. Okay, I guess they technically were dead next turn. So, thanks everyone for hanging out this morning. I apologize, I wish we were streaming some sweet decks, but I'm having some issues with manatraders due to, I'm presuming, just a computer glitch. It's been a morning of computer glitches. Tried to double check my school schedule, wouldn't let me log in on my school website. Go to do manatraders, and yeah, saying that the cards weren't turned in, that it were turned in. So right now I currently have a deck that I don't have that the system says I have, even though the cards aren't in my collection and I didn't sell them. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. So that's why I'm playing Burn this morning. Not exactly the most thrilling deck to play, or thrilling deck to commentate on, but it does what it's supposed to. This is a deck that, on my other channel, which I'll just go ahead and say at this point, it's Oblivion Ends Gaming. Been primarily just streaming, or not streaming, doing competitive leagues with Burn. Foz said that I had a lot of misplays on there, which is entirely possible because I usually just tried to cram in matches wherever I could, because it was kind of like a secondary venture. This is obviously a mulligan. His hand's not great, but second land. Scrying into a second land here would be pretty good. Yep. Keeping that on top. So our opponent kept a land on top, which means we're probably about to hand them a land. But, such is life. Yep. Huh. Humans? Maybe? Yep. Do you have Ether Vial? This is going to get quite ugly for them. So, normally in this circumstance, I'd play Eidolon here. But given the fact that we know that their second land is Horizon Canopy, most likely. Oh, never mind. Ancient Ziggurat. So I guess they could have Thalia here would be the most annoying card in the world. It's hard to imagine on a mulligan to 6, though, that they have every good card against Burn in their hand. Champion the Parish. Into Noble Hierarch. Yep. A pretty good hand, all things considered. Could play Lavamancer here, but Lavamancer with no fuel in the graveyard, plus the fact that our opponent is going to have a champion in the parish that's going to get too big for its britches here. So Ether Vial put them to 9. We have 7 points of burn in hand. Even without them taking damage from Horizon Canopy. Wow. Is this Thalia? Nope, Reflector Mage. Alright. Point noted. They're probably actually going to bounce Eidolon here. Wow, they have quite the draw. So any which way we cut it, we need to draw a land here. I'll put them to 4. I think we just pass here. Plan to chump block with Goblin Guide. And if we draw a land or another 1 damage spell, they're dead. Because we're past the point of our creatures being effective here. And if they ever use those Horizon Canopies, they're just dead regardless. So. Never mind. Humans is probably, I would say, rapidly becoming one of my least favorite matchups with Burn. So. Meddling Mage naming Skullcrack. What? Yep, ladies and gentlemen, Magic Online is filled with skilled and great players that never make any mistakes. Well, not only any burn spell off the top, they took a damage to play Meddling Mage, knowing I have Skullcrack in hand that kills them. If I play Eidolon the Great Revel, it's a chump blocker. Wow. Just wow. My opponent navigated that game My opponent navigated that game so well right up until that meddling mage play. Like, literally, they navigated that game so well right up until that meddling mage play. I don't know what to say. Well, Space Marine, you missed one of the dumbest Magic plays I've seen in a while. It's been a hell of a morning. Yeah, I'm never in a million years mulliganing this hand against Burn. Or not Burn, against humans. See if they have Ether Vial. Nope, just Champion the Parish. Basically, Space Marine, I hate technology this morning, and I'm playing my backup account because my opponent just navigated game one so perfectly and then punted it all away on like a series of misplays in like 20 seconds of each other. Basically, they were at 4 life. They Kitesail freebootered me, took my Lava Spike. I had something, something, something. Just don't be Thalia. Just don't be Thalia. Okay, Auriok Champion, sweet. Alright. See, okay. Everyone's gonna be like, but... So either way, I'm missing a point of damage. So, give my opponent a life here. This way, my Swift Spear can attack through their Champion of the Parish. Is the primary reason we're doing this. Now, we've pretty much missed our window to kill their Champion of the Parish. And we're just giving them lands left and right. Basically, they were at 4 life, had 2 Horizon Canopies, a Noble Hierarch in play. I have a Skullcrack, Nylon the Great Rebel, and I can't remember what the third card in my hand was. So they were at 4 life. They play Meddling Mage off a Horizon Canopy to then go to 3 life, play Meddling Mage. Know they have Skullcrack in hand, and name Eidolon of the Great Rebel. Alright. So we get to get hit for 6 here. Go to 11. Get to crack them back for 4. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, sure. It depends on the skill level of the humans player. Really good to really good humans players that know their way around the deck and know what cards they want in the matchup. It's... Please just be Thalia, not Reflector Mage. Of course you have Reflector Mage. Makes things a little more difficult. Probably bounce Swift Spear here. The better the humans player, the more difficult the matchup. It's pretty much what it comes down to. I have no idea, War Dog. Considering I basically have one or two decks. Well, that's good, Space Marine. I'm gonna obviously finish this match, probably take a few minutes to go eat some food, and then, come back and maybe stream a little bit more Burn, since that's all I have right now. This is another Reflector Mage. We're dead anyway, so... Are we dead? Yeah. Make our opponent swing with everything here. Actually, I suppose we're not technically dead here. If they have another human, we're dead. Yeah, we're just dead on board. Alright. For some reason I thought we were at a higher life total than we are. Alright, so... Excuse me. The fact that they showed us Auriok Champion makes me want to have Skullcrack in my deck even more. So, just leave it as is. Just like to play first. Sand's alright. Depends on the nature of their hand, but the sand's alright. They don't have Vile, this hand's excellent. They have Vile, then our hand's kinda mediocre. Okay, Horizon Canopy. Wow. Alright, they have Vile, so things are a little bit better for them. We have a double Eidolon draw. Yay. Oh, Auriok Champion. Glad we have this Path to Exile in our hand. Thing is, if they try to win through Vile, we might actually be able to deal them enough damage to kill them over time. Yep, which means they probably have a 1-drop to pair with it. Be it Noble Hierarch or Champion of the Parish. If I were them, I'd valid in right now. Yep, it's probably a champ. I'm guessing a champ or a noble here. Kithian. Wow. Thalia, sure. Seems like a good bit of us work retail. So to answer your question, Space Marine, this is kind of why the humans matchup gets a little weird. Because you're like, a lot of Burns' tools against humans are good, but not great. And when they're able to operate with Ether Vial, it gets really silly. Alright, there's Reflector Mage, sure. College isn't for everyone, and to be honest, college isn't necessary for everyone. So that's not a... I'm only in retail while I'm finishing up school, so... This is probably the Thalia. Drink new product. Just sometimes we get to drink new product. Past our opponent here. So theoretically we can kill our opponent next turn, depending on what we draw. Part of the reason to not crack the fetch here. We're no longer at the point where we can control the board, we just gotta get him dead. Use Goblin Guys as a chump blocker if we can. Drinking on the job sounds great to me. That's another Reflector Mage. No, we're beyond the point of where I'm the beatdown. We're at the point of I have to kill my opponent here. So, we have to top deck a... Yeah, we have to top deck next turn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we draw a spell, they're dead, or a burn spell, they're dead. And we draw Swift Spear. Chump. Chump, chump. I guess we can chump to stay alive, maybe? Depending on what their last cards in hand are. Like, theoretically, we can chump, chump, take 5. But if they have... There's a lot of cards in their deck that just kill us here. This is why the humans matchup is a little bit tricky, Space Marine. Like, just draws like this. Where you get really close, but it comes down to, like, the last top decks and whatnot. So, probably activating their Horizon Canopy here. Thalia's Lieutenant kills us, Reflector Mage kills us, manatraders kills us. Phantasmal Image kills us. So only about a quarter of their deck kills us here. Humans is a very complicated deck. You should, I was gonna say, you should swing with Athalia's Lieutenant, because I'm priced into blocking your dodo birds here. So... Ha! Because we had to crack that fetch land last turn to play a chump blocker, Searing Blaze is no longer lethal. But that's a good example of why the humans matchup is difficult for burn. It's just a reasonable deck in a lot of different ways, and draw path. But yeah, if they wouldn't have punted in game 1, we would have lost game 1 too. So it's not like humans is not like a great matchup for burn. In fact, the more I play it, the more I lose to it. The more it's just like, well, guess everybody has their one boogeyman in the top decks. So feels like that's kind of my boogeyman right now. 4-1. We beat Death Shadow, Elves, Storm. What was the first match? Oh, and the Burn Mirror. Alright. What, you actually like burn or humans? I'm confused. Yeah, burn, that was the other deck we played against, right? Yeah, I mean, 4-1. I mean, this is the deck that I've been playing a lot on my backup channel. This build's primarily... Yeah, I know you hate burn. I'm actually surprised you're watching while I'm streaming burn. But, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go check the email, see if manatraders has replied yet.
You've got mail.
Good old AOL. They have not. So, guess I should check my spam. Alright. Appreciated. Well, thanks, Space Marine. But, yeah. It was kind of a crappy... I mean, a fun ending to the league, but kind of a crappy, thing overall. Just how the morning's gone. So, I'm gonna end, obviously the league ends here. I'm gonna take like a 5-10 minute break here in a second to go get some food in my stomach, and then I'll probably stream some more burn, because I got it's a green white value in tech that's been putting my burn deck through the ringer recently. Dave, what is your okay, let's talk about that matchup. So, green white value town is your... What does your sideboard look like, and what do the games you're winning and losing look like? Problem is that deck is so hard to find on Magic Online. Green white collected company probably. For those of you who don't know what Value Town is, this is an example list of Value Town. Was 2 pass, usually lose against coursers being too big, knock off the board. Sometimes even hyper, lock fences, when blazes mute. Alright. So, Cardi's talking about, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Modern, but those of you that aren't, Corsair Crewfix is a 2/4. Part of the reason my version of Burn runs 4 pass in almost every build that I play personally is the fact that everybody wants to say Burn is a aggro deck, you know, just point your burn spells to the opponent's face, etc., etc., and you're good. Well, a lot of times you actually have to rely on your creatures to get you a good bit of the damage. Your Goblin Guys, your Swift Spears, your Eidolons. And one of the key ways to do that is and most of this strategy goes back to when Death Shadow was a big thing. I was getting locked down by a lot of, like, turn 2 Tassigurs, turn 3 Gurmag Anglers, turn 2 Death Shadows, turn 3 Tarmogoyfs. So, part of the thing in giving Value Town mana is absolutely horrible. But, the best thing you can do against a deck that is running Corsair of Crewfix is to try to have as many Path to Exiles that you can board in with your strategy as possible. And it's horrible to give them mana. But Corsair, from what little I've listened to Todd Stevens play the deck, and, I almost never play against the deck, so I can't, like, give a ton of feedback in terms of direct experience, because almost nobody plays the deck other than Todd Stevens and Yuijo and these guys that, you know, 5-0 with the deck or whatever. But, yeah, Path to Exile is really the only thing I can think of that would save that particular problem. Um, hmm. Condemn wouldn't work because condemn specifically says attacking creature, and they're very rarely going to be attacking with the Courser until they're so far ahead that it's not going to matter. That's why Path is kind of the necessary evil in situations where you're basically turning the burn deck into a tempo deck, and you're playing like one drop, Path your dude, swing in. Like if you notice against the Grixis Shadow player, that's kind of the strategy I was trying to adopt when I brought in the 4-pass, was to be able to play that kind of tempo game where they tap out for a dude and you like end step Path or dude and then swing in. So if they have Stubborn Denial, you're not tying up your mana during the turn. If they don't have Stubborn Denial, you just clear their dude out of the way and kill them. So the only other thing you can try to do against Courser in particular is if your opponent's not especially skilled in the matchup, you swing in with Monastery Swiftspear in particular and get them to block it with, thinking it's a 1-2 or a 2-3, and then you play another additional spell, either like a Lightning Helix, a Lightning Bolt, even a non-landfall triggered Searing Blaze, and you get them to kill their Courser that way. Although a lot of it depends on how much pressure they're under, whether they're going to fall for that trick or whether they have to play around that trick. So, stuff to keep in mind. Hope that helps, Dave. About the best I can do without actually having played the matchup much, because that's not a deck I play against online a lot, and it's not a deck that I see at my LGS either from any of the modern players. So it's about the best I can try to give you, unfortunately. Hope that helps. But I'm gonna go take a quick break, and then I'm gonna come back for stream for a little while, start another league up. Unfortunately, still be burned because I still haven't heard back from manatraders. So gotta start grinding ticks in case I gotta pay for $250 worth of cards. But I will be back here in a bit. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be back probably in like 5 minutes or so. Same deck, same stuff, unfortunately. So be back here in a bit.